Okay, good morning. All right, let's see here. I see that the live has not quite caught up with what I'm doing, but that's okay. That's kind of normal for there to be a little bit of a delay. Oh, with today being the 14th, all right, and some stuff happening in the news dealing with deportations over the weekend and since last Friday, figured I'd go ahead and cover over some of the stuff going on with that and what the truth is behind it, what's false behind it, some rumors, some not, and just general nonsense. All right. And the first thing was I wanted to show up on the, where did I put it? Here it is. Because I used it in my thumbnail. Let's just take a look at some general facts here. All right. From 1981 to 2022, the deportations. Yes, I know this is 2025, but hey. All right. This is what I could get for today. All right. Under Reagan's first term, all right, we got the total cases and how many were deported. Yeah, the total cases of 4,444,000 with 3,058,408,000 deported. His second term, 5,300,000 with 4,700,000 deported. George Herbert Walker Bush, 4,580,000 with only 4,161,000 deported. Bill Clinton's first term, 5,466,000 with 5,368,000 deportations. His second term, he deported, 6,744,000, and he deported 6,922,000. Almost 7 million people Bill Clinton deported his second term. George Walker, OW. Now Bill Clinton's the first, in his second term, the first president to deport more people than what he had total cases. Okay. And just to look at that, okay, deportations are categories here into two main types: returns and removals. Returns resolve in sending an individual back without a formal order of removal, often allowing them to leave voluntarily. In contrast, removals are formal deportations where the individuals are legally ordered to leave the country. These distinctions are crucial as the different administrations prioritize these deportation types according to their policy goals, leading to varied stats under each president. All right. So, that's why you can have more deportations than cases, because some of the people were, you can have more people be removed, and they're leaving the country without being formally ordered to do so. So since they weren't formally ordered to do so, you've got fewer cases. All right, does that make sense? Then under W's second term, all right, again, he had 4.5 million cases, but he had nearly 5.5 million deportations and removals. Now, Obama, you see, we got a big drop here under Obama. Obama only had 3,160,000 cases. And yes, he did have 3,756,000 deportations and removals. Or I'm sorry, 3,175,000. It's kind of hard to see that one there, but yeah, 3,175,000. Then his second term, he had only 2,871,000 with 2 million deportations. Yet Obama got the nickname of Deporter in Chief, which, as we can tell here, if you really look at it, Obama has got the lowest numbers of any president, except for Trump's first term. I mean, now Trump had 3 million cases, but only had 2 million deportations his first term. Joe Biden had more deportations and removals. So, I mean, yet the left paints Trump. I mean, Trump is, see here, the only person lower than him. I mean, he's got the lowest number of actual deportations and removals of any president. Of any president. And he only barely, he only barely beats out Obama. Obama had 3 million. Actually, didn't even beat out Obama. Obama had more cases and more deportations his first term. And Obama's second term, he had more deportations and removals than Trump did his first term. So Trump is damn near got the lowest number of deportations. But you don't see that in the media. You don't hear about that. You did not see or hear about that in the media. Everything was Trump evil. Trump was the worst. And I mean, this is I'm getting this from I believe it's Real Clear Politics is where I got this from. Infographics.com is where I got it from. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely look and see here. You know, that the left and the media, I mean, they just blew everything that Trump did out of proportion comparing to what previous presidents had done. Hey, morning, Josh. How you doing? Well, he was the worst supporting the leftist agendas. Who, Obama or Trump? Oh, talking about Mr. T. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, and the reason why I wanted to show, going through this graph like I did here just now, is that there's been some other issues coming up here. Okay. Let's see. When is this article from? Okay, that's from. All right. Oh, I'm. We got this. What the hell's his name? Um, I man, I oh, where did it go? Where in the hell did that go? I lost it here somewhere. Oh no, 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 no. Okay, I've got to look this back up. Uh mm, okay, I am trying to find what the hell was that kid's name? Here it is. This Mahmoud Kalia. All right. The immigration judge ruled on Friday that the Columbian University student Muhammad or Mahmoud Kalali or whatever can be deported. The problem is that never should have gone before an immigration judge. All right. Because the law specifically states that once a visa has been granted, the only person who has sole responsibility, sole authority. Oh, Josh, I don't censor. Josh, I the only thing I don't want done in my chat, the only thing I will do is somebody come. Okay, of course, somebody the bots coming in doing their thing. Yeah, we're going to get. I expect you guys to get rid of them. If people want to come in and say nasty things about me, that's fine. I don't care. They come in and start talking nasty about anybody else, then I'm going to boot them. There's a couple of people that, because of past actions, I will, if I know they're in the chat, I will boot them. Simply because they're poisonous. They're poison people, and I don't want them in my chat. I couldn't care two things about what they got to say. They could come in singing my praises, and I'm still going to boot them. So, but as far as YouTube algorithm, look, I'm lucky to get 30 views. And most of those views are by people who are over on Rumble trying to get me to sign up with them. So you can type out now. I don't want to see the F bombs, definitely not N words, that kind of stuff. Of the curse words around, the F bomb is the only one that I really don't like. All right, on a personal level. Now if you say F somebody, okay, that's fine, but if it's every other word in your post, then I'm going to have a little bit of issue with that. Now, but again, I'm more concerned about anybody coming in and attacking other people inside my posts, attacking other posters. It's not Rumble themselves doing it. It's the companies going around and they'll post stuff in the chat. So I just post the stuff over Rumble because I've got the account. And I mean, honestly, when I look at, I just ignore these guys when they post in my chat over there. Hey, morning, Digi. Yeah, I saw you over there this morning on Monkey Stream. What was your handle over there on Rumble? Yeah, I got a Rumble account. After I'm done with the stream here on YouTube, I download it, then re-upload it over there to Rumble. Yeah, Wyvern 331. Now, there's these companies, they will, if you sign up with them, they will boost your account, get you a bunch of views and such, get you monetized. And then you sign your monetary check over to them, and then they'll cut you a check for a portion of what YouTube or Rumble pays you. So, and that's how they make their money. And a lot of their views are, as far as I honestly believe, are just bots that they've got set up to stream your account at 2x speed, but they get you your views and or you get a paycheck. Is it legal? I don't know if anybody's ever been taken to court over it. And you're right, it does sound scummy. That's why I ignore them people. I get their posts from them and I ignore them and just let it go. If I was in this for views and to make a paycheck out of it, maybe, but I'm not in it for views. I'm not in it for a paycheck. In fact, it costs me money to do this because I pay that $300 a year for StreamYard so that I can do more than 100 hours of streaming a week or a month. So Yeah, I don't pay for YouTube Premium. I don't pay for Rumble Premium. I just use their free stuff. The only thing I pay for, and the wife and I talked about it, and for a hobby, $400 a year, $300 a year for a hobby. Hey, that's pretty cotton picking cheap as far as I'm concerned. Now, if money gets extremely tight, yeah, I'll probably cancel it and cancel the stream yards and have to actually learn how to use OBS. So, the only thing I would probably, if I were to pay for premiums or anything, it'd be to get around the commercials. Okay, let's see here. I just got notification. Barack Obama breaks silence, calls on Bush and Clinton to confront Trump's threat to democracy. Let's see if I can. Obama calls on Clinton, Bush. Let's see here. Oh, this is from yesterday, but and let's see here, and they're all pretty much being a company or somebody I've never heard of. Thy Black Man on MSN. I've never heard of this character. Thyblackman.com. Okay. President Barack Obama finally did last week what so many of us have been waiting for him to do, and Bill Clinton and G.W. Bush to do. He stood up and spoke out about the threat of our constitutional democracy posed by Donald Trump. Okay, well, we're not a constitutional democracy, we're a constitutional republic. So, thyblackman.com, you're already proving me you're an idiot. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's not where I'm not worried about that. But anyway, so now let's get back here to what that's yet pay you because I'll not deal with commercial interruptions. Oh, okay, Josh. Well, I would get if it would get me out of commercials, I would pay for it. I mean, if like if I was making money doing YouTube and doing these streams, then I would obviously pay for YouTube to get rid of commercials, so I don't have that issue. Okay, same way with Rumble, I would pay them to get rid of it. Like I'd probably pay Twitter X to boost my X account. So, but yeah, it's and did you? Yeah, I mean, I hate commercials. That's probably why I spend a lot more time with my audiobooks here uh, when I'm working around the house. Like yesterday, I was putting up motion activated security lights, and I listened. Then while I was doing house cleaning yesterday, I listened to most of. I was listening to audiobook the whole time. So, but anyway, back to this. So we've got this issue. On the immigration that the know Obama. Back to that chart again. I hope I didn't get rid of that chart. Did I? No. So we can actually see Bill Clinton was the biggest deporter, at least up through Joe Biden, up through 2022. Okay. So somehow Barack Obama got called the deporter in chief. And Trump got the bad name because for some reason the left and the media decided to attack him on his deportation, even though he deported less people than Obama did. Well, being as you actually paying for the audio books there, Digi, and honestly, uh, when I buy a new audiobook, the first thing I do is I download it, then I convert it to MP4 format. And then I save that over on the side because Audible is owned by Amazon, and Amazon does have a history of removing books from people's libraries, even after they've bought them. So, or updating the book without your knowledge. So, and I do the same thing with my Kindle books I've downloaded. Is I convert them to PDF format, and I store them over separately. That way, Amazon can't go in and they may alter the Kindle format, but they can't mess with my original format. Oh, yeah, exactly, Josh. When I'm watching, like Nate the lawyer, he always puts an ad in the middle of his stuff, and I zip right through that. I like, and I have unsubbed from a few because they've spent as much time doing ads for their stuff as they did doing actual content. I don't know if Bezos would sell Amazon. I really don't know because he created that out of his garage. If you'll remember, I mean that's his baby. Jeff Bezos was a broke son of a gun like the rest of us when he started Amazon. Okay. let's see here. I mean, this here's a look at Obama's for deportation record. All right, he had a huge turn, at the border refusals, and that got counted into his deportation. That, as you can see here, the dark green are people that were actually in the U.S. that he deported. The light green are people that they got turned around at the border, and they never had a chance to get inside that 100-mile range. Oh, really? No, Josh, I did not know that was happening. I keep muting out there with just a few tiny clicks. All right, let me do this. Okay, now that should be. There we go. That should stop that from happening, that muting. But yeah, oh, I definitely agree. I would rather see him turned around at the border than have to deport them from inside the U.S. That's why I'm a firm advocate of, and y'all have heard me say this before. I want two walls, 100 yards apart, going the full length of the border as much as possible. All right. And that center part being constantly patrolled by border agents, unmanned aircraft, drones, whatever it takes. By people on automobiles, people on horseback, aircraft flying overhead, drones flying overhead, unmanned aircraft flying overhead. I don't care, whatever it takes, that being done. Still going in and out. Huh, that's interesting. I don't know what's going on there then. I really don't. Maybe I'm having a problem with my headset. Anyway, okay. Oh, a few long pauses by you, and it could sound like glitching. Yeah, I do. That is one thing I do have a tendency to do is have a long pause, especially when I'm trying to gather my thoughts for what I want to say next. So that may be what it is. But I would actually love to see this dark green way down here and the light green starting way down here after as many individuals who are in the country illegally have been deported. But until then, I want to see dark green as high as possible. I want to see as many people deported from this country as possible that are in the country illegally. That be it they entered illegally, they overstayed their visas, They're visa holders who, like this Muhammad Kalia character, who are coming in and are raising hell with our country. They're in here on student visas and they're out protesting against the United States. Well, if you're out here protesting against the United States and you're in on a student visa, get the hell out. You don't need to be here. You don't have a constitutional right to freedom of speech while you're in the country on a visa. Just like you don't have the right to be in my chat, you don't have the right to be in my house. And I don't care who you are. A person who is here on a visa does not have the rights to be in the country, given regardless of what they want to do. And the first few milliseconds of speech are missing as the pop occurs. Ah, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to listen back to one. I've tried listening to my own streams and I can't do it. It sounds horrible, at least to my own ears. But here's this article. A U.S. immigration judge ruled on Friday, this is last Friday, that Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalid can be deported. Again, like I said, a judge never should have gotten involved with that because that a judge, when you read the law, the judge doesn't have there's the authority to rule on it when you actually read the law. Okay. Uh, Signed the 1952 Immigration Nationality Act. Trump appointed U.S. Secretary of State. Determined last month that Khalil could harm American foreign policy interests and should be deported for his otherwise lawful speech and activism. Yeah, if he was a U.S. citizen, his speech and activism would be lawful, except for the fact that they caused damage to universities at the protests that he led. They kidnapped people. They were put other students in fear for their lives and physical well-being, i.e., Jewish students. So, this guy not being a U.S. citizen and here on a visa should have been deported. But he's married and his wife is pregnant. Fine, she can go with him if she wants. She's a U.S. citizen. She can stay here if she wants, or she can go with him if she wants. She's free to do whatever in the world she wants to do. I don't care that he's married to a U.S. citizen. He needs to go. That's he is not a citizen. Okay, he's a lawful U.S. permanent resident, which that lawful U.S. permanent resident can be removed when you are doing things that are against the interests of the United States. There is no due process for somebody who's in the country illegally or on a student visa. You had your due process when you made an agreement and remember, he lied on his visa application. He led protests against the United States. He led protests against U.S. citizens because they were Jewish. He 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 did a lot of very shady things, which would actually, if you were a U.S. citizen, would still probably end up getting you in court. if the laws were properly applied. I still say that all them student protests, the cops should have been in there and arresting people. I don't care that the college allowed them. They still damaged property. They still put other students in fear for their lives and well-being. End of conversation. You know, just like when these people are protesting in the streets. All right. If you want to protest, stay on the sidewalks. Yes, you have the right to protest. You don't have the right to interfere with my right to travel. Protest all you want. Protest where you're not interfering with my life. You're right. Josh, he's been a total tool, but that's uh, let's see here. Right here, the 1952 immigration law gives the Secretary of State unilateral judgment to make his determination about Khalil. Like it or not, that is the law. Rubio wrote for his role that he should have been removed for his role in anti-Semitic protests, disruptive activities, which fosters a hostile environment for Jewish students in the United States. That is, again, there is nobody that can deny that happened. And when the law states that the unilateral judgment belongs to the Secretary of State, that removes any judicial process from it, like it or not. Now, I can see the Democrats now trying to change that law. I can see the Democrats trying to change that. But that won't happen until one, there's a liberal, a Democrat president, and two, there's a Democrat House and Senate. So we've got at least 4 years, well, 3.5 years before that happens. Because I take nothing away about the chances of the House and the Senate going Democrat and at the midterms. Just like I also say that there's a strong possibility that we have a Democrat president next term. Uh, I don't think J.D. Vance will get the unless he does a hell of a lot between as vice president between now and then. I don't see J.D. Vance getting elected as president. I don't do it. Mostly because, again, our mass media is so against the Republicans and conservatives in general. Need to change the Voting Rights Act back to non-net taxpayers don't vote and females stop being forced to double the labor force. Um, uh, I would be happy to see it just, that's one of the things I like about the SAVE Act is it is repeal the 19th. It is forcing the all the states to, especially California, Pennsylvania, and such, to stop illegals from voting, non-citizens from voting. Now, see another shakeout though here of this uh, Muhammad Khalil issue is this: international student enrollment at U.S. colleges under fire amid visa revocations. Donald Trump's crackdown on foreign students in the U.S. is expected to have a chilling effect on enrollment, U.S. colleges and universities. School experts worry that foreign enrollment at U.S. schools could take a nosedive as the Trump administration continues its immigration enforcement initiative that has targeted students who support terrorist organizations, Hamas. Federal immigration officers who raid dorm rooms to search student visa recipients who refuse to leave despite their status being revoked. In other words, the laws being applied is causing students from other countries to not want to come here. What does that tell you about what the idea is that these students have for wanting to come here then? Are they really wanting to come here for an education? Or are they coming here to foster problems, to lead protest, to push their country's policies, in some cases, their country's religion, you know, to sow dissent on our colleges, to convince the young kids who are in college that the United States is an evil place to be. I'm a half hour late changing out my infusion stuff here. Y'all should be used to this on Mondays. That every Monday I do my infusion, and y'all have to listen to me change this thing out and fill my next syringe up. I got a nice early start again today. I'm filling my last syringe now, so I'm doing my next to the last syringe right now in me. Fill this syringe up and get it ready. Now, this is a neat little contraption that uh, I've got for doing my own infusions. Uh, got these big 60 cc 2-ounce syringes, and I fill them up myself. Now, what I do, and because I'm doing a sub-Q, just under the skin infusion, I've got real small needles that I set in, and then uh, put the syringe in this contraption that actually pushes the syringe closed, push the stuff out into me. What I do is, like, I just fill this syringe and I set it upright in an empty water cup for all the air to gather to the top of it, push that air out, and then hook it up and go for it. Oh, yes, I know. I how many people filed their taxes already? Or you're waiting like me? I waited until Friday to do it because I had to pay. Leaders, girl bosses, etc. Yeah. So back to this. Dr. William Bernstein, special assistant to the president for global affairs and distinguished history professor at West Virginia University, said arrests and visa revocations in recent weeks will hurt Americans' ability to attract international students to institutions. I'm going to be honest, I don't care. I don't care if we get international students. Maybe that will help drive the cost of college down for American students. I mean, why is it? I mean, dude, what do these foreign students bring to the colleges intellectually? Uh, that we can't get with our own students right here. What do they bring besides money? Because they can charge an international student a hell of a lot more for college than what they charge a U.S. student. Yeah, Democratic votes, right. But I mean, seriously, what do international students bring? Oh, they bring prestige because we have so many international students fighting to get to our colleges. So, that's prestige on the world stage. But what does that prestige on a world stage actually do for the American student? Huh? What does it do? Well, it opens their eyes to thoughts of students from other countries. You mean like pro-Palestinian protests, anti-Jewish hate, so on and so forth, all that good stuff. No, I'm not interested in poisoning the minds of uh, American youth, young adults, with the garbage from especially Middle Eastern students or Chinese students. China recently passed a law that all all Chinese citizens are required to become spies for the CCP. Now, they are to be and to work as intelligence agents for the CCP, especially if you're in a foreign country. So with that law passed, why are we even allowing Chinese citizens to come to our colleges? Why? Especially colleges doing research. Why? Why are we allowing them to come to our colleges to get to? I mean, I'll face it. China is our enemy. We have two big enemies in the world: China and Russia. And I'm more afraid of China than I am of Russia. Chinese own a huge part of our national debt. That 36, 38, 40 trillion dollars we owe, China owns a big portion of that. Josh, I just got into a huge argument over iPad baby issues. The wife and I come up on a huge disagreement on that. Her and I had a huge disagreement. I am confident that the Trump administration's crackdown on student visa recipients who it alleges engage. What happened to my screen? Thank you, Washington Examiner, for making me losing it. Okay. Uh, I'm fairly confident that the crackdown on student visa recipients who it alleges engaged in pro-Hamas protests. All we got to do is watch the videos, and we can see who was involved in the protest or not, who engaged in the pro-Hamas protest. In the aftermath of October 7th, 23, Hamas massacre of Israelis will indeed have a chilling effect on foreign student enrollment. Good. If we have student people wanting to come here to lead protests in support of Hamas, and now they don't want to come because they're afraid that they'll lose their visas and be deported, that's a good thing. That's one less student that we don't have to deport. We should not be supporting people coming to our country who are coming here. Let's face it, if you're anti-Semitic, you're a racist. All right. It's just a specific form of racism. You're a racist against Jews, against Jewish people. But a sharp decline in the international students may serve the Trump administration's ultimate agenda after it warned schools in March to cut the anti-Israel protests or face retribution. Again, because these people were being anti-Semitic. If they're just protesting Israel, that's one thing. But they weren't protesting Israel. They were protesting the Jewish people and being anti-Semitic at the same time. Oh, John, the wife and I, we got quite a few things to disagree on. We're not of common mindset on a lot of the big things we are. A lot of the big things we are, but some of the small things we're not so much. Uh, let's see here. While I support an individual's ability to come to our country to pursue an education, we must ensure the schools are not enticed to choose foreign revenue streams over national security or safety for American students. For too long, our universities have thrown caution to the wind while chasing foreign funds. And I support President Trump's efforts to make sure our higher education systems truly promotes American interest. That's exactly the way it should be. If you're coming to, if we were sending, if a student wants to go to learn how to be a communist, let them go to China. They'll learn how to become a communist. But if you want to learn about the American dream, the American ideology, the American Constitution, what this country is founded on and should be our national goals, which are based upon the founding documents of the country, then come to the United States to learn and try to emulate those precepts. But a lot of the foreign students don't come here for that, as this Momad Khalil idiot did. He came here to raise hell. to be a divisive character. Well, hey, Dana, good morning to you. I'm sorry I missed you earlier. On his first day in office this year, Trump took executive action to crack down on anti Semitism in college. Why the Biden administration didn't, I'll never know. Other than the fact they did not consider anti Semitism. Just think if those protests, instead of being against Jewish students, had been against blacks, do you think those protests would have been allowed to last as long as they did? Do you think they'd been allowed to last the first full day if those protests were against black students? Do you think they'd gotten the support on the media that they did, that they do? Instead of wearing them damn scarves that they wear, they've been wearing had a KKK hood on. Do you think they had gotten the media support? That's just not the way. I mean, the answer to that we all know is no. It would not gotten the media support. But that's exactly what's happened. They've been racist. These anti Semitic attacks, anti Jewish attacks are just another form of racism. And I dare you to try to prove me wrong. And again, under the Immigration and Nationality Act, Rubio has the authority to rescind visas of non citizens he determines to be a threat to U.S. interest. Oh, I love this. The press covers student visas like there's some sort of birthright. No student visa is like, no, a student visa is like me inviting you into my home. If you come into my home and put all kinds of crap on my couch, I'm going to kick you out of my house. And that's basically what I've been saying. And Rubio just said that there in this interview. The law also states that students shall be stripped of their visas if they're suspended or expelled from school or arrested while studying in the U.S. Maybe that's one of the reasons why the schools don't press charges on these kids for damaging, because they know all the ones that are arrested during these protests that are here on visas could be deported. The Department is now looking at internal databases to determine if any visa recipients were arrested, but not removed from the country, given the wide-scale pro-Palestinian protest. I'm glad to see it. Let's set this bar very high right now. You know, when my son was growing up, he badmouth if he back talked to me, he got the back of my hand across the side of his face. I smacked his mouth if he back talked to me. No ifs, no ands, no buts about it. He got the back of my hand. Both times that had happened. both times. Now, and that's it. He only back talked me twice. He learned his lesson. His friends, I've told this story before. I told his friends not to park in my driveway, not to block my wife's parking spot or mine. If they came over, they were to park alongside the road. One of his friends decided to park in the driveway. I came home. I parked right up behind his bumper where he couldn't get out of the house. He couldn't get out of the driveway. Then I went in the bedroom and I went to bed. The next day, his father called, wanted to know why I blocked his kid in, why his kid had to uh, call him to come pick him up so he could go home. And I told him that I told his kid not to park there. But he did anyway. The kid came over to the house, but he never parked in my parking space again. If you show that there is, and I don't care how old the person is, it happens at work all the time. It happens at work. Somebody gets fired for doing something. That lets everyone know that that if you do this, you're going to get fired. By Trump setting this bar where he is, that if you participated in these protests and you were a foreign student here on a visa, you stand a chance of being deported, having your visa revoked and be deported. That will stop other students from doing it, other foreign students from invoking and doing the protesting or being involved in the protesting or organizing protesting. Hey, Fury, good afternoon to you, sir. You know, I'll get to your post there, Josh, about dumbest things people overspend on. But you're right. Housing isn't, in fact, dumb, but people who buy more housing than what they need is dumb. But or what they can afford. Let me put it that way. Okay, among the first revocations was that Muhammad Khalid character. Since Khalid, 140 education institutes have identified 700 instances where international students and recent graduates had their legal status changed by the government, forcing them to leave the country or risking arrest. As of April 11th, Georgetown University has had 6 student visas revoked. University of Maryland has had 4, and Johns Hopkins has had 12 visas rescinded. That's good news. Oh, I'm sorry, Spanky. I didn't mean to startle you. But that's good news to have that happen. I like it. The American Council of Education sent Rubio and Homeland Security Kristi Noem a letter seeking a briefing on its recent targeting of foreign students. Tell the American Council on Education to kiss your ass. You don't report to them. They've got no authority. Tell them to go get bent. Ignore them. The impact of visa revocations and subsequent immigration enforcement on college campuses is likely to negatively impact enrollment levels. Wow. Again, prospective international students and their parents will factor into their calculations via applying to and enrolling in U.S. institutions the perceived arbitrariness of the administration of policies which constitutes anti-American, anti-Israeli, and anti-Semitic attacks or utterances, including social media posts. You've got a choice if you come to the United States on a visa. Behave yourself. Don't be a racist. Follow our laws. Follow our customs. Or leave. Or don't come to the United States if you don't believe that you should be not racist, not anti Semitic. If you believe you don't have to follow our laws and our customs, then don't come to our country. Again, when I went to Germany, now granted, I went to Germany as under government orders, assigned to a government base. And they spent time teaching us and telling us what the local customs were and what would get us arrested if we did it downtown, what the local laws were, what you could do and could not do downtown, and what would happen to you if you did the stuff you weren't supposed to do. And people took that into consideration as to whether or not they wanted to go downtown. And I know people that spent their 2 or 3 year tour never left the base. They never left the base because they knew that if they went downtown, they were going to do something that could get them in trouble with the local, which would in turn get them in trouble on base. You don't have to come to the United States to get an education. You don't have to. You'll get a different education if you come to the United States. But you don't have to get your education here. Let's see here. Sarah Spritzer, Vice President and Chief of Staff for ACE's Government Relations Office, says there's a lot of uncertainty and confusion right now among the international student population and across the higher education institutions nationwide. Uncertainty because they're having their feet held to the fire and being told, you know what the laws are, and we're enforcing them. We are starting to enforce the laws, and if you don't like it, leave. Either behave and stay, or leave the country, or be deported when you get caught. Those are your options. Oh, Spanky's snoring here next to me now. 1 million international students, according to ACE. Foreign student enrollment contributes $43.8 billion economic impact on the U.S. Well, considering the amount of money that we spend overseas that we are getting back, I think we can afford to reduce that $43 billion impact. Okay, here we go. Here's where the schools are. The University of Michigan's uh, School for Environmental and Sustainability graduate degree is 27,000 for a U.S. citizen, but 55,000 for international and out-of-state students. So if you live in, and they charge a U.S. citizen who's from Ohio, Texas, Tennessee, wherever, the same that they charge a foreign student, $55,000. And like I said, the colleges are going to lose more money though by allowing these protests and such, because uh, as and because Trump's freezing federal aid to them, freezing grants. No, no, you're not getting the grant next year. I've got no problem with that. At the college, y'all know I've got a hard on for colleges anyway. I don't like most of these colleges because they are so left leaning. They they allow liberal protests to go on with no problem, but they ban uh, Shapiro from going out there to speak, or they ban Riley Gaines from going out there to speak, or they allow the protesters to set without punishment, set off fire alarms to stop their speaking engagements. And nothing's done to the person. They don't even try to find the person that set off the smoke alarms or the fire alarms. They allow the left wing students to interrupt and disrupt conservative speakers. Nothing happens to them. Absolutely nothing happens. Maybe if the schools started expelling people for doing that kind of nonsense, that'd be a different story. These schools like to claim that you know, we're here to, allow everybody to have their say. But no, they don't do anything to punish people when they uh, say something that's, you know, the least bit conservative. Remember Milo and the protests? They threatened to burn. They tried to set buildings on fire when Milo was speaking out there at Berkeley. The riots, the protests that happened there. That's where Antifa got their start. People don't. The colleges did not care. They actually, as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, the colleges supported the left wing doing that. The colleges, they did nothing to stop these pro-Palestinian protests on their campuses. They did nothing to stop it. Why? The kids are, hey, if you don't go to, they canceled the classes. Why? They should have held the classes, and every student that didn't show up, that because they were more interested in being out there in protest, should have been given a 0 for the day. You don't show up to class, you get a 0. You get enough zeros and you're expelled because your grades are shit. But instead, professors give them extra credit for being out there protesting. Now, Trump here, we earlier I showed you, where is it? Did I close it? Okay, earlier I showed this chart of the deportations across the board. All right. And Obama, his deportations and uh, borderland refusals were there. And here's Obama's administration. And let's see here. The dark green is actual deportations of people inside the border. And it looks like the largest number he had was close to 250,000. Looking at this chart, and that was inside the U.S. deportations. Well, Trump aims to smash Obama's record and deport 1 million immigrants. President seeks to ensure mass deportation of terrorists and criminal illegal aliens. Well, again, every illegal in the country is a criminal. They have broken federal law. By breaking federal law, that makes you a criminal. Whether you want to play semantics with it or not, you're still a criminal. If you've broken federal law. Now this here is from 2014. This is about Obama. Immigration activists have sharply criticized President Obama for a rising volume of deportations, labeling him deporter in chief, staging protests that have harmed his standing with some Latinos, key group of voters for Democrats. Well, it's turned now, in 10 years, 11 years, Latinos are now becoming a key voters for Republicans. It's amazing how that changes, isn't it? And mostly on the basis of immigration. A close examination shows that immigrants living illegally in most of the continental U.S. are less likely to be deported today than before Obama came to office. And how did that happen? Because Obama uh, started counting people being turned away at the borders being deported just to pump up his numbers, to appeal to independents and other people who felt illegal immigration needed to be a case. Oh, I could definitely, Josh, I could definitely see that. But Repubs do it too. Yeah. I could definitely get behind let's see who can deport, which president can deport the most people. That would make me absolutely ecstatic. We used to have a sheriff here in town, county sheriff, that roll up on construction sites. This was a few years ago. And it would be the sheriff and five or six other patrol cars, two deputy sheriffs in each car. They'd turn up on a construction site or a job site of some sort, and they would you and all of a sudden half their people would disappear because we had a sheriff here that said that he was out to arrest illegals. Well, the sheriff the next county over, he said, well, that he didn't see that as part of his problem. Part of his job description was to go out and look for illegals to arrest. Well, next thing you know is all the illegals then were living in the next county. Most of them left ours, and they went to that county. Well, that county then started, the people from that county started complaining about the fact that they were getting, all the illegals there. People were losing their jobs to the illegals. Plus, crime has stepped up. Breaking and enterings stepped up. Shoplifting had stepped up. All these little crimes stepped up. But when they all step up at the same time, you have to look at what happened. Who's committing these crimes? A lot of them were being committed by the illegals that left our county. Our crime rates went down. Their crime rates went up. Now, am I saying that every illegal, besides the fact they entered the country illegally, was out there shoplifting, was out there breaking and entering and such? No, not every one of them was. But enough of them were that, what can you say? And yes, I will state today, and I will say it to anybody's face, loudly and clearly, if you enter the country illegally, then you are a criminal, and you are committing a criminal act every day that you are here. And again, if I had my preference, if you've been in the country 364 days, then you would have 364 charges against you for being illegal in the United States, because every day that you're here is a fresh crime. Not every person in jail is actually a criminal, but they're still where they don't belong. Okay, I can see what you're saying, and innocent people do get arrested and spend time in jail. You're right. That does happen. Uh, some of these First Amendment auditors, they get arrested and they spend time in jail where they shouldn't have been arrested. And a lot of them bring Jeff Gray being one of them. There's been times that he should have brought a hell of a lot more than that 1776 lawsuit. That's what he asked for in monetary charges was $1,776. Some of those cases he should have asked for a lot more because those cops needed, or those counties needed to learn, those cities needed to learn a more serious lesson than other ones did just by their actions. I would love to see that when an officer commits a false arrest, like what happens with Jeff Gray and other people like him, is that individual officer is held liable and not the city. Or, that individual officer is held liable and for the monetary, and the city the city has to pay too, but or the county, but that individual officer has to pay up out of his pocket. I'd love to see that. Not every illegal is a shoplifter. Not every prisoner's committed a crime. They're both where they don't belong. Bad analogy, but it is what it is. I've never said every illegal is a shoplifter. Some of them are. Some U.S. citizens are shoplifters. Not every illegal is a murderer. Not every illegal is a rapist. Not every illegal is a sexual assaulter. Not every illegal is a lot of things. But they are still, every illegal is still a criminal as they enter the country illegally. Just like every person who has overstayed their visa is a criminal. Why? Because they overstayed their visa. So they are now in the country illegally. But anyway, uh, I knew I was going to spend a lot of time on that. I want to go back to something you said earlier, Josh. Okay. Fury, we technically have a 10,000 pound fine per person if you're found hiring an illegal. The only way to punish the wrong businesses, though. Oh, I fully agree. I fully agree with that, Fury. I'd love to see in the United States that a $10,000 fine for every per illegal hire on a company, uh, as well as a 1 year loss of all government contracts. For 1 year, they cannot have any government contracts. That, I mean, that would take care of a lot of it. Because even construction companies, local construction companies have governmental contracts. And a $10,000 fine per illegal and a 1 year uh, governmental contract loss. That would absolutely make me a happy man. You would see a lot of companies getting rid of the illegals, shedding illegals. That's why I also want to see that program go into effect that requires all employers to, no, I can't remember the name of the program, but it's out there, uh, where they go online, they put in your social security number, and it kicks back as to whether that is a valid number for that individual or if it's being in use by someone else in another locality. From Social Security theft, number theft is huge, absolutely huge. Incoming solar storm, really coming in on tax day, huh? Solar storm. Oh, there's one from 12 days ago. Here's a article. Rare double solar splash unleashes two CMEs towards Earth. Let me share that. Double solar eruptions could spark G2 geomagnetic storms and auroras above northern U.S. states on April 16th. Okay. That's interesting. A a G2 moderate geomagnetic storm watch is in effect. Auroras could be visible as far south as New York and Idaho. Oh, wow. NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center has issued a geomagnetic storm watch for April 16th as two coronal mass ejections are expected to strike in close succession. That's cool. I'm too far south to see anything, but all right. These solar storms likely travel slowly, but they are dense and pack a piece and punch. Still waiting for the chronograph data to inform model runs, but impact could be late April 15th or early April 16th. Oh, this is one. The last time it happened, auroras danced over Bear Mountain, New York. Okay. Well, that is interesting. Didn't even need that to need a new main board. I tell you, Josh, Samsung appliances have got to be among the worst ever made. I'm a Samsung guy for my cell phones. My televisions are Samsung. For that kind of electronics, hey, I'm all for Samsung. They're really strong. But appliances, I've not heard a good word said about any of their appliances. There are people out there drilling holes in their Samsung washing machines so that the tubs will drain water after the spin cycle. So yeah, there's no way. What do we want? Charged particles. When do we want them? Preferably on a clear night. Yeah, I am. I'm happy to see that uh, Trump is doing this stuff on the campuses, and I really want to see more of it. I really do. I want to see a stronger. I want to see a stronger U.S. involvement on this stuff, the federal government. I want to see Rubio stepping up, especially visa cancellations and going after people who've overstayed their visas. I really want to see that happen. So, oh, Josh, yeah, I knew you were talking about Samsung's there. Oh, here's a cute video I just got. Let me share this. This will be my palate cleanser for the day. Watch an octopus take on a shark. See these guys in the background here. I mean, now they're going after the shark. The octopus is holding them down, so they're saying, "Okay, yeah." That shark is toast. Oh, it? No. He's getting away. He got away. Oh, wow. Oh, did y'all see about that beached whale? In Huntington Beach. Let's see here. Where's some? 25-foot dead whale. There we go. Yeah, I thought for certain that shark was toast. 60,000-pound whale there. They're supposedly going to try to bury it. Good luck. Oh yeah, taking a big chunk out of that shark's back. Yep. And then every other shark in the around would have come in and attacked him. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream about 10, 15 minutes early, but than what I normally do. But I really got nothing else left to talk about. So I want y'all to have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Tomorrow's tax day. I hope everybody's got their taxes filed. If not, get them filed today or tomorrow. They're taking their money out of my bank account today, 700 and some odd dollars that I owe in taxes. So let's see here. Oh, okay. Fury, somebody hijacked a fast food place's outdoor speaker where you place your drive-through orders. And when people would come in, they'd mess with the order. Uh, then I guess some cops rolled in to place an order, and they were in a marked car. And the guy, started making pig noises and all that kind of, all kinds of good fun like that. Then they disappeared before the cops could find them. But that's what you get for being a cop in some places. But anyway, y'all have a good day. We'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy yourselves. Be with the ones you love and love the ones that you are with.